This is the wheat grinder. We're gonna grind wheat in it. This is a bucket with wheat in it, 5-gallon bucket, and it's white wheat. It has a gamma lid on it, twist. This is the scoop for the wheat. I'm gonna scoop the wheat and put it in the hopper. It's filling up. Alright, just leave a little bit of space at the hopper, at the top of the hopper. You put the lid on the hopper. Proof, bread proof. Start. Get the pans out. Spray the pans. You can get the pans warm early. Get out your mixer. I use a Bosch. Plug in your mixer. Wash your hands. Get out oil and vinegar. Get out sugar, potato flakes, wheat gluten, powdered milk, yeast, salt. It's turning off. And it's finished. Open this up. The flour is in here. This is a flour bucket. Flour bucket with 100% whole wheat flour. This is a white wheat variety instead of a red wheat. Okay, this has a little filter thingy, but it just collects flour in it. I'm gonna set it up there. And then you kind of have to tap it, you know, with your hand. So I don't think I can do this with two hands, but just kind of tap it so all the flour goes to one side. And then I'm gonna open this thing and dump it in there. I twisted it and just popped the little seal here. Look, there's flour inside. And there's a little piece in there called a cyclone in there. I'll show you, I'll pause it so you can see. See, that part looks like that. It just has flour attached to it. And it comes off. There's it detached, that little piece. Some of the flour collects in there and it goes right there. And now we have flour, more flour in there. You can't even hardly tell that I put some in there. I put that whole container full in there, but you just can't even hardly tell. Okay, and your last ingredient besides water is flour. Okay, if you're doing 1 loaf of bread, you're gonna have 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of powdered milk, 1/4 cup of potato flakes, 1/4 cup of wheat gluten, 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 3/4 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 1/4 cup of warm water.
Let's see, if you're in a dry place, you're going to use 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 1 tablespoon of oil. But because we're in a wet place, Oklahoma, we're going to use half as much as that. So for 1 loaf of bread, you'd use 1.5 teaspoons of vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons of oil. If you're doubling your recipe, you would use, in a wet place, 1 whole tablespoon of vinegar and 1 whole tablespoon of oil if you were doubling the recipe in a wet place. Okay, and then if you're in a dry place and you had 2 loaves of bread, you'd be 2 tablespoons of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of oil. But as far as we go here in Oklahoma, for 1 loaf, you're just going to go 1.5 teaspoons, 1.5 teaspoons. And if you're doing 2 loaves in Oklahoma, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of oil. Okay, that's all our ingredients.
Let's measure them out. And water is warm water is going to be 1 cup and 1/4. Okay, so here we go. Here's a drawer here. Let's just do the wheat first. All right. We're just gonna measure that out. 1 cup. Two cups. See, it's like you kind of try to level it out there. Do you see? 1/2 cup of flour. There we go. And we're gonna put it in here. 1/4 cup of flour. Remember, 100% whole wheat flour. And this is a white wheat variety, a hard white winter wheat variety. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1/3 cup of sugar. You see that? 1/4 cup of potato flakes. I don't know if you can see that very well. I don't know. It's a light. There you go. 2 tablespoons of powdered milk. That was 2 tablespoons of powdered milk. 1/4 cup of wheat gluten. Let's see what that looks like. Looks like flour. So that's 1/4 cup of wheat gluten. You get out your whisking apparatus, whiskers, and you're going to attach them here. We're just going to whisk the dry ingredients together. We're going to put on a lid. We're going to lock the lid and whisk. Whisking breaks up any dry chunks that you have. I turned it off. I'm taking it out. And then I just kind of tap it against the sides to get the flour off the sides and off the whisks. And then put it away. Put in your dough hook. Okay, dough hook is in. Put away your wheat gluten with the rest of them that you've already put away. All right, what you have left is your 3 wet ingredients: vinegar, oil, and water. 1 1/4 cup of warm water. So if it burns your finger, when you put your finger in it, it's too hot. If your body is saying, ouch, it's too hot, because it will burn the yeast. So just warm, okay? Not cool, warm. I'm just running the water here till it gets warm. It's starting to warm. That's not burning me. You didn't see it, but I poured the water in there. See, it's getting all wet and bubbly. Little air bubbles in the yeast. All right, and then we're gonna do vinegar and oil. Remember, if you're somewhere wet, if you're doing 1 loaf, it's 1 1/2 teaspoons of vinegar, 1 1/2 teaspoons of oil for 1 loaf. If you're doing 2 loaves, somewhere that it's wet, like Oklahoma or Mississippi or something, for 1 loaf, it's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of vinegar and 1.5 teaspoons of oil. There's the 1/2 teaspoon vinegar. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of vinegar for 1 loaf, somewhere where it's wet. Here's 1 teaspoon of oil. There's the other 1/2 teaspoon of oil. So if you're living somewhere wet, for 1 loaf of bread is 1.5 teaspoons of vinegar and 1.5 teaspoons of oil. And that's for 1 loaf. Okay, we got the vinegar, the oil, the water, that is it. We just need a lid, and now we're gonna mix it for 8 minutes. So we're not gonna overmix it, we're not gonna undermix it. 8 minutes. Nothing more, nothing less. Eight minutes. yourself. Put on the lid. We'll see you in 8 minutes. Still mixing. Okay, so I just turned it off. And it's looking good in there. Now I'm going to carry the whole thing. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's not hot in here. It's only 100 degrees on a very low setting. And these pans are getting warm. And it's just going to proof in there for about 40 minutes. Could be less if it's more hot, or, you know, it's like a hot summer day. Could be a little bit longer if it's a cool winter day. But for about 40 minutes, it's going to proof in there. It's first rise. Got some flour on there. And the time is up because now we're going to come over here and I'm going to put 40 minutes on our timer. And it's going to do our first rise in the oven that is under the bread proofing setting. So it's a proofer right now. All right, counting down. See you in a minute. This timer just went off. Pull this out now and see how risen it is in there. It's very, very happy. We're going to put this right here. And we're going to divide it out and make 2 different loaves. I'll unlock this. It's really nice and warm in there. And watch this deflate the dough here. Do you see this? That's kind of a fun part. And then I'm going to divide it in half. Okay, I have half the dough. I'm going to roll it out real quick here. See if I can see me roll it out. I don't know if you can even see me roll it out here. But rolled it flat. And then you just roll it up. Try not to get a bunch of air bubbles in it. There you go. And I kind of squish it and make it kind of, I don't know if you can see this, like kind of make it taller and longer so it'll fit in the pan nice. You see that? Okay. And however you put it in this pan is how it's going to be. It's not going to miraculously be different than it is now. There it is. It's all in there. Now we're going to do the second one. I'm going to roll it out with a PVC pipe. Okay. I don't know if you can see me. So we're going to try to do that if you can. I don't know if you can. I'm going to roll that out. Bread. I'm just going to roll it nicely. Alright. I'm going to squish it with my hands and make it tall and long. Oops. I forgot to turn off that timer. There we go. Tall and long. And I usually use 2 hands, but I am using it in the camera right now. Okay, so I put it in here. Make sure it's tall and long here. So it rises real tall and can fit in there. There we go. There's your bread. Alright, well, we're going to put it in the oven with its companion there. Alright, there they are. And they're going to do their second rise right in here. Looking beautiful, guys. Then we're going to put on for, got dough all over my hands. We're going to put it on for another 40 minutes or so. There we go. And it's still on that proofing setting. This one right here says bread proof. So it just means your oven can go down to 100 degrees. And then here I'm done with this. And then I'll see you in another 40 minutes. I have to put this in for 23 minutes. And it's all nice and risen. And I put it on 350 degrees. So I hit bake. And I put it up to 350 degrees, and it's not quite there yet. 350 degrees, and then I hit start. Bread's looking good. It's cooking. About 16 more minutes. It's looking good. Go, bread, go. All right. 2 minutes. sure you turn it off. And then I like to shake them out and put some butter on them. Put this somewhere. There we go, because they're hot. Shake this up. And turn this up. Whew, they're toasty. All right, and then I just part of this. And you butter it. And that's it, everybody. That's homemade wheat bread. So we used hard winter white wheat. And winter means they plant it the year before it grows. So to harvest winter wheat in 2026, we would have needed to plant it around October 15th in 2025. So you have to plant it ahead of time, the year before. And it sits in the ground during the winter and then sprouts and starts to grow. And then in the spring around Memorial Day, around the end of May, you harvest your wheat here in Oklahoma to make this kind of bread. All right. Bye. Thank you.